Hello fellow AGD coders, and welcome back to another video. It's going to be a fairly short one today, just in response to a request. I do take requests if you like on the Facebook. If you want to ask me a question, I'd be happy to make a video if I think it's interesting and useful for others to try out. So today I have a question which came from Jaime Grillo. Hola Jaime. Here is Jaime's question. He says, how can I spawn an object in the middle of a game? So as you know, when you set up objects in AGD, you tell the objects where they should appear, and they appear. So what Jaime wants to know is how can he have an object which is sort of not in-game, but then appears after something else happens. And to give you an example of that, I'm using this Jet Set Willy model here that I've used for a couple of demos. Now, if you look just up the top here, in the right hand side, just a second, I'll avoid that monster, I'll use my mouse and show you, just up here. So I'm going to make an object appear just up in that corner there when I pick up this object here, this shield. So once I pick that one up, it will be a trigger to be tested, and if I've got that one, it will then allow another object to appear. So in this way you can create a series of different objects that have to be collected in the right order. So here you can see I've picked up that sort of shield, and there, as if by magic, the other object has appeared there, which can then presumably Willy can climb up and collect. So yeah, that's basically the essence of the question, and it's a fairly simple way of doing this. Let's take a look at the objects first. As you can see, this one has been placed and started at room 0, and this one has been placed at 254. Now 255 would mean that the player has the object in their pocket, so to speak. 254 means that the object is not in play. So right now the object here, object 1, is not in play, and we will put it into play when the player is carrying the other object. So let's take a look at the code here, and the first thing that we'll do, of course, is just here at the top, detect object, if object equals 0, get 0, end if. So I'm sure you know how to do that. That's pretty straightforward. So what we want to do then is basically place an object in a position, and the way that we do that is we go to the game initialization, the restart screen, I should say, and this will then tell AGD to do something when the player enters screen 1. And so we'll just go down to the relevant code. This top part is just the names under the rooms, message 1, message 2, and so on. So we'll just skip that, and we'll scroll down here to a test on screen 1 here. And as you can see, we've got a test here for if got 0, which is has the player picked up the first object? If so, have they picked up the second object? In this case we're doing an else, which means the player hasn't picked that object up. And if the player hasn't picked that object up, then we're going to use a couple of temporary variables here. In this case I'm using opt and rand to store the X position of the player. This is important because the player may come in from the left or from the right or from above or below, whichever it might be. So we store the player's current position, then we set the player position to the position that we want the object to be spawned at. We then put in get 1, put 1, and in fact you don't need get 1. It's just a force of habit that I got into when I was moving objects around in a room. So really you just need put 1. I've tested it and that's definitely fine. And then finally let X opt, let Y rand. Those temporary variables will restore the player's position back to the place where they came into the room. And that is pretty much it. This is quite a useful little trick. I'm sure some of you already know it, but this is a way that you can, using the temporary variables, this is a way that you can actually move objects around on screen as well, and place them in different places. You can basically just put them down. And if you use get and put together, then the object you'll be able to move it around basically. So have a little play with that if you want to. Let's take another look here one more time. So the player picks it up, and there it is. It's tested, and the other object is being spawned in the room if the player is carrying that particular object. Okay, so that's pretty much how it's done. I hope you found that useful, and I hope that perhaps you might like to try it out in one of your games. So as always, keep enjoying the Spectrum, keep enjoying AGD, and happy coding. Take care. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.